What's going on, gangsters? Movie John here, and we're back with another original versus remakes. And today we're going to talk about a big favorite of mine, Friday the 13th. Now I have my first Friday the 13th in this box set. You can see right there it is. And of course, the 2009 remake. This is the killer cut. Now there's no secret here that Friday the 13th, the franchise, is my favorite franchise ever. And it all started in 1980 with Friday the 13th, the original. And, you know, I've probably seen part 2 or 3 or something beforehand when I was a kid. I don't remember actually seeing the first one until a few years later, because I was only 5 years old, gangsters, when the first one came out. But so I saw Jason a few times before, and then I go back and watch or whatever. But the original, of course, has his mama, Pamela Voorhees, killing in it. And that movie was good at its time when it first came out, because it didn't show you the killer or anything. It just showed you a hand and a knife or whatever kind of tool that she had to kill people with, and you kind of guessed along the movie, you know, all the way through, trying to figure out who the hell's the killer. And then at the end, you know, I can just imagine back in 1980 to watch and find out there's a woman killing people in this damn movie. So the ultimate experience is my buddy at work named Ralph. He remembers going to Blueprint Cinema, an old little theater in Green Valley over here, in between where I live and Princeton and Bluefield area, that he went and saw the Friday the 13th, the original, 1980, in the theater. That would have been awesome to do. Of course, I never did get to see it because I'm 5 years old. Well, actually, it was about 4 when it came out. I didn't turn 5 to the end of the year. That's besides the point. But he got to go see it at the theater. I thought that would be really cool. But just too damn young to see it in the theater. But sometimes older theater, we have one in Beckley that shows older horror movies every once in a while. Maybe I can get a chance to go up there and see it one time. That's about 30 miles up the road. So in 2009, yeah, I got this one right because I remember. They remade Friday the 13th. And when I first heard about it, just like any other remake I hear about, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know. This is actually a Blockbuster case that this is in. I bought this at a pawn shop, though. Only $1. But 2009, they decided to remake it. I was very skeptical at first. And it's really not all of a remake to me. It's not. It's more like just a reboot, I guess. And of course, you can see on the front of it, Jason's on the front of it. And it's Friday the 13th, the first one, when Pamela Voorhees is the killer in the original one. So what they did is, the first few seconds, they're showing the end of the original Friday the 13th. Well, they're not showing the actual ending, but they're showing you Pamela Voorhees getting killed and beheaded at the end, and Jason finding and seeing it and finding her, and takes a little necklace and everything, and he just gets revenge. He's going to come back. So, you know, a few years later, he's back apparently, and just up to his old tricks. The thing is, so then it kind of takes 4 parts into one movie, I think. That's the way I look at it. You know, they have the ending of the first one there, and then the second one, he got the sack over the head, so naturally that's what they show him at first. And they show him pretty quick in the movie, and he's got some brutal kills and stuff in it. And then later on, he finds the hockey mask, part 3, that comes in. So that's, you know, that was very quick, but, you know, everybody wanted to see Jason with the hockey mask. You didn't come to see him with the damn sack over his head. In this one is completely a lot different. It's not really, you know, once they get going and he's killing people, he's actually trapped one person as hostage because he looks, the woman looks like his mother. And, you know, me, back in the days, you remember Jason just killed people. He didn't hold people hostage and shit. So that was a big different change, and something I didn't really care much for. And but they added to the story a little bit for the brother to come back and try to find the girl and just try to kill Jason too, you know. So, you know, everybody's probably done seen this by now. At the time when I first saw it, I didn't really care much for it. It grew on me over time, watch it a few times. If you're there to watch TNA, it's got plenty of that. You know, Friday the 13th movies has TNA all the damn time. But if I had to put the original up against the remake, believe it or not, I'd actually pick the remake because Pamela Voorhees was a pretty cool killer and stuff, but once, you know, getting down the road in the other parts, you want to see Jason. And to see Jason come back and a little bit smarter and changing up a little bit, I really enjoyed seeing Jason, and it was pretty cool. It kind of, like I said, skipped along from 3 different parts, and maybe the 4th one, I don't know, there really wasn't a whole lot to the 4th one, you know, in the old days, so I don't know why I said that at the beginning, but it's more like just the first 3, with the hockey mask and the sack over his head, and of course Pamela at the beginning. But I picked the remake, and remake, really I call it a reboot. It's basically what it should be called. But out of all the ones I didn't want remade at the time, I really didn't want Friday the 13th remade. They remade Nightmare on Elm Street. That's not going to be in this series because I have the original, not the remake. I will not buy that piece of shit. And Halloween will not be in this series because I have the original, but I'm not buying that piece of shit remake either. I actually had it at one time and I got rid of it. Couldn't stand it and wasn't going to get watched anymore. But this is the Friday the 13th originals versus the remake. That's all I got to say about that. The remake I enjoyed better than the original. And if I had to number my list of favorite the Friday the 13th movies, part 1 was probably way down there on the list, probably around 7th or 8th out of, you know, the top 10 or whatever. I always said that. It's just, you get used to seeing Jason and you go back to watch that. You want to see Jason. You want to get to see him at the very end in the original, so why not? Till next time.